trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Rock and get us swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules. In this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In our heart and the struggle, we dare to dream. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading no light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Rock and get us swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules. In this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In our heart and the struggle, we dare to dream. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading no light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Rock and get us swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules. In this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In our heart and the struggle, we dare.
All right, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so already, be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so with that all being said, let's see who's in here. Claudette, above all that drama, bronze flat power God. All right, let's get into it. Okay, with that all being said, hey, Desmond. All right, Dee Dee in Dallas. All right, Claudette. Queen and Moni Huey. Shout out to all of my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. And a big shout out to my moderators because y'all know they be putting in work. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it. Before we do, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. And don't forget that she has beard oil as well. Okay, so now with that all been said, let's get into it. Before we get into today's topic, or topics, plural. Let's go to a comment that someone left me. It appears that someone has an axe to grind. So with that all being said, this was left for me on yesterday after the premiere of that video that I did about the clips that I reposted about Paul Birdsong. Okay, the fake Black Panther wannabe. All right, so anyway, here's what they had to say. Let me just share so you all can see. They went in on the poor little old queen. I mean, all I'm doing is trying to bring you all the news. All right, I don't know why people want to go in on me. Please pay attention. Now, do y'all see this? This is from Jennifer Cobb, 1390. Jennifer says, I support Chairman Paul, at least for now. Hey, here's the thought. Ask Bobby Seale what he thinks. And you are saying that he is FBI? You discourage Black people not to vote for Kamala, although you knew what kind of person Trump is. Are you part of the FBI yourself? I find that all interesting. First of all, I didn't say that he was part of the FBI. I said that he may be an agent or a plat, and that's what I think he is. Now, me thinking that he is such and him actually being such are two different things. But what I do know is that he is a fraud and a liar. He's done both, right, in real time. Now, with that all being said, let me continue. So then she went on to say, not everything you are saying is true. I have not trusted you since telling Black people not to vote for Kamala. Now we deal with Trump. His nefarious acts are on your hands. Did you and Vicky ever get back together? Because both of you are birds of the same feather. Now that's the part I really love, okay? That's the part I really love because are they trying to compare me to Wig? They literally compared me to Wig number one. I could never. Okay, I absolutely could never. Okay, be like Wig. All right, please miss me with it. Talk about we're birds of the same feather. Is that because we're both in the new Black news media? And pretty much the people in the new Black news media kind of have the same talking points. So if one of us is going in on somebody, usually the rest are as well. Okay, is that what you're talking about, ma'am? But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Dee and Dell said, not comparing you to Wig. Yes, she did. But here's the thing. DJ Big Stick said the feds is watching. You know, the feds are watching. They absolutely really are watching. And in fact, wasn't it Buckhorse DC who said just a couple of weeks ago that he was outside and he walked up to a fed that was sitting in a car and they told him that they were watching my show when he was talking to them. He mentioned me and they said that they always watch this channel. Buckhorse DC, why would you ask the feds if in fact they are watching the Queen? Why would you do it? Anyway, with that all being said, what I find very interesting about that whole entire exchange is that the person basically, well, it wasn't an exchange because I hadn't responded as of yet, but nonetheless, the person went in to say how they don't trust me and they said that I told people not to vote for Kamala. I never, once in the chat, if I ever, I never told anyone, I repeat, I never told anyone to vote for Kamala. I just said what I thought of her, and I can't help what I thought. Okay, at the end of the day, that's what Kamala was giving. Now, on the flip side, I definitely did know how nefarious Trump was, and I, in fact, said that. And I also said that's why I don't have to keep talking about Trump, because we already know Trump is the son of Satan, if not Satan himself. I said that. Okay, so I don't think that I told anyone. And a matter of fact, I know. Okay, I'm just being facetious saying I think, but I know. I didn't tell anyone not to vote for Kamala, and nor did I tell anyone to vote for Trump. In fact, the only thing that I said about myself voting was that I initially said I was going to vote for Dr. Shiva, and that was until I found out that Dr. Shiva actually called Sabby Sabs a house Negro. And I didn't take kindly to it. And even after I had him on here for that lovely interview that he gave and all that, I decided not to vote for him because his views clearly didn't align with mine. Why would he call her a house ninja? When he was on my show and he said that someone was saying something racist to him, and he went to tell them that he was not a house ninja, and he asked me if he could say the word, and I said, no, don't say it. But he said it to Sabby Sass. So I had a problem with that, so I didn't vote for him. And then I think I told you all that, in fact, I wasn't voting for anybody. So if I said that I'm not voting for anybody, why in the hell would I tell you who to or not to vote for? Makes no sense. And also, I'm not the gatekeeper, okay? And also, I don't control what people do. That's what I don't do. I only can control what the queen does myself. So I'm sorry, the young lady, Jennifer Cobb, 1390, was upset and felt that I did a disservice. But I never told Black people not to vote for Kamala. Never did I ever. However, I will say this. I would like to apologize for anyone that took the things that I said about Kamala and let that, keep you from voting for Kamala. Okay? And if now you especially feel bad because Trump is in there causing all sorts of havoc, well, I apologize to you for that at the end of the day, but don't blame me because it really wasn't my fault. People did what they wanted to do, wouldn't you say? And then when she said Trump's nefarious acts are on my hands, why would they be on my hands and not MAGA? MAGA voted for Trump in mass record numbers. I mean, what about the people that were saying Black MAGA? Remember them? Black MAGA and Latinos for Trump? I would say that along with them and MAGA, yeah, absolutely. And Nicki Minaj, yeah, those people are the ones that are responsible for Trump being where he is, not the queen. Okay, you can't play those games with me. They just don't add up. All right, so that I've been said, let's continue. Let's continue. So you all know that Trump has gotten so nefarious that a woman who worked at a library. Now, you all remember librarians when we were in school? They were always so nice and quiet and sweet and would help you with anything they could. But a librarian was plotting to take Trump out. This poor woman got it in her mind that there was no other way to go but down. Hill, that is. And so she went on social media and started recruiting people from the internet to help her to take out Trump. Obviously, she didn't think the plan through very carefully, I would say, because why would you be recruiting people for a whole felony, okay, on the internet? I find it all interesting, don't y'all? Anyway, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Now, they don't have much information in the story. I mean, most of the news reports were only like 40 seconds. I'm like, somebody plotted to take out the president, and this is all y'all gonna say? I guess so. Now, here's what they have to say. Let's get into it.
On a Monday with new information in the assassination plot of President Trump based in Jackson County, West Virginia. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Amanda Barron.
And I'm Marilyn McAuliffe. 13 News reporter Sarah Davis joins us now from outside the Jackson County Courthouse. Sarah, this all started on TikTok. What can you tell us?
A Ripley librarian was arrested over the weekend on terroristic threat charges after she allegedly led a social media scheme to make plans and then recruit others to assassinate United States President Donald Trump. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office says 39-year-old Morgan Morrow was arrested Sunday after an investigation found statements made on the internet linked to her, suggesting a plot to assassinate Trump. That TikTok post included the phrase, quote, "Surely a sniper with a terminal illness can't be a big ask out of 343 million. Sheriff Ross Mellinger says threatening comments of that nature were found on multiple online platforms. He says social media only amplifies this type of intolerable violence.
When you saddle up on the horse of stupidity, you have to be prepared for the ride that follows. And that's kind of where we're at with it. Clearly across the line. And we're just trying to do our part and making sure that it's not acted upon, and there's no one that's following her footsteps to try to carry out the plan.
According to a criminal complaint, Morrow, who was a librarian at the Jackson County Public Library, did admit to posting the statement and intending to threaten Trump, but said she wasn't planning to personally carry out anything. Morrow was formally charged with the felony of making terroristic threats and transported to South Central Regional Jail. Her bond has been set at $75,000. The Jackson County Public Library did issue a statement following the arrest saying, quote, "The views expressed are in an individual capacity and do not represent the position of the organization. We are addressing the matter eternally in accordance to our established policies and procedures." Reporting in Jackson County, Sarah Davis, 13 News.
All nefarious. Okay, absolutely nefarious. That lady was plotting to take Trump up out of here and send him right on to the spiritual realm. I mean, the fact that she was recruiting online is what gets me. Like, girl, whatever were you thinking? And she worked in a library, okay? So she has access to books and stuff. Like, you don't read and research, lady?
In West Virginia, a white woman who just so happens to also be a librarian has been arrested for what? Allegedly trying to recruit people to assassinate Donald Trump. Allegedly, this librarian has been using social media to try to recruit people who's down for the cause. And it's really her basically being like, they don't assassinate politicians the way that they used to. Y'all not taking out politicians the way that y'all used to. Let me see if I can make some shake for me. Like, that's literally what's doing it for me. The fact that she literally took it upon herself to see if she could get the job done. Again, this is a white librarian, okay? A white librarian. Her job is literally reading books, which means she understands exactly what the fuck is going on. She understands the state of the world right now. I would hope so, right? With all of the literature and the history books that she's probably reading, she's digested, she's taken in. Yeah, she's desperate. She's desperate because she knows that's the only way that we're going to get change. He needs to get the fuck out. So her name is Morgan Morrow, right? She's 39 years old and she's worked at Jackson County Public Library. She was charged on Sunday, January 25th, with one count of making a terroristic threat. That's what they call it, right? So deputy says that she allegedly used social media to recruit individuals to pursue the assassination of Donald Trump. Apparently, she's made TikTok videos about it, lip syncing to certain videos, alleging, alluring to the assassination of this man. She's even written a caption stating, "Luigi can't save us all." I mean, she ain't lie. Here's another one of her captions that she's placed on one of her TikTok videos where it says, "Surely a sniper with terminal illness cannot be a big ass scout, right? Out of 343 million people. We just need one. We just need one." Of course, the public library issued out a statement, that.
Yeah, they issued out a statement, but behind closed doors, they were big up in her. Okay, please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, let's continue because the protesting down in Texas is off the chain. They're protesting for 5-year-old Liam Ramos, the 5-year-old who was dangled as a carrot, okay, so they could capture his father. Now, why they detained and then sent this little boy to a detention center is beyond me. That was just low down and dirty. Okay, low down. Like, what's so uncalled for? I can imagine the little boy is scared to death. Anyway, with that all being said, let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Here we go.
People united will never be divided. The people united will never be divided. Will never be divided.
All right, so these people are down there. They're very upset because they're holding this small child at the end of the day. And it's very concerning because some of these people that work in those places are offenders, okay, allegedly. And I got to tell y'all something about ICE. We'll get to that in a minute.
When ICE shows up at your door in your neighborhood in your city, are you gonna stay home and lock your doors? Or are you gonna go out and you're gonna fight? And I think this is the time that we need to fight.
We just really want the people inside to know that there's people out here thinking about them and doing what we can.
This is where Liam Ramos is being held with his father. You can see that there's a lot of protesters here. These protesters are from cities across the state of Texas. Some of them are wearing blue beanies. These blue beanies are in honor of Liam Ramos because he was wearing that iconic blue bunny winter hat.
My heart aches for him and all the children and families that are inside. Had to be here. I had to be here today. Everyone's just coming together in the middle of the week, but we're stand for justice.
There's another woman over here. Your beanie resembles what Liam Ramos was wearing when he was taken, and I'm wondering if you'd like to tell us why it was important for you to be here today.
I'm gonna get emotional. I mean, there's no words. There's no words. We've been watching everything that's happening in Minneapolis, and seeing a 5-year-old out in the cold, wearing his little bunny hat, being used as bait, being sent down here. What are we doing? But it's time for us to step up. And, as a Latina, seeing, people being racially profiled for the color of their skin, their accents, that's not right. Whatever lies people were told in 2024, it's their lies. It's time to wake up, and it's okay to say, you know what, I messed up. I see we're wrong. Let's move forward. Let's fix this.
Again, there's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of people who place themselves in the shoes of some of the families that are inside.
Children in there, they're trafficking humans. That's an emotional thing. So I'm a mom. I can't even imagine having my family torn apart like that. And this is the fabric of our nation that we're tearing apart. If we don't speak up now, when do we speak up?
The fabric of our nation is being ripped apart, they say. Honey, the fabric of this nation has always been in shreds. Okay, it's always been in shreds. Didi in Dallas says, y'all Latinos voted for him. This is what you wanted. Enjoy, dummies. Well, lots of them did vote for him, and the Afro Cubans as well, and the regular Cubans. All of these people did because they thought they were protected. They didn't give one single damn about anybody else who was going to be affected nefariously by Trump's policies and the things that he was going to do, which he told us all he was going to do in the first place. So they didn't care, but now people are supposed to care. I care a little bit. I care about that 5-year-old Liam Ramos. I care about people getting killed in the streets. Okay, Nicole Good, Alex Preddy. I care about all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, people have to realize there's consequences for their actions. And if people don't see the consequences of these actions when they voted for Trump, then they may repeat these actions sometime again in the future. Maybe there's a good side to this. Maybe next time when it's time to vote, people will actually use common sense and critical thinking skills, okay, and not vote in another would-be dictator. You see, when they founded this country, that's what they call it, the so-called forefathers, not ours, theirs, they basically were afraid that the population would vote into power someone to be the president that was a dictator, that would just do whatever they wanted. That was why they came up with the Electoral College. That is why they came up with the Electoral College. But you see, here's the thing. When they want somebody in office, when they want somebody in power, they don't care what policies, they don't care what the Constitution says, they don't care what bills and laws are passed, they don't care, they'll do whatever they want. And you see, here's the thing. Now, Jennifer Cobb, 1390, that left me that nice comment, or those nice comments, What she fails to realize is this. It is no mistake that Trump is in office. The presidents of this country are selected, not elected. And if they didn't want Trump in there, and by they, I mean the powers that shouldn't be, if they didn't want Trump in there, he wouldn't be in there. That's a fact. That is an absolute fact. Now, some of y'all may not want to believe that, but it is true. If they didn't want that man in the White House, he would not be in there. And also, you should ask yourselves, why the hell Congress is moving so slow to do anything? Which I've been saying for months, but let me continue. Here we have Little Miss Crockett speaking at the behest or on behalf of little Liam Ramos.
I just want to paint a picture. Imagine being a free-willed, loving kiddo. And all of a sudden, one day, you're thrown on a plane. You're sent 1,500 miles away from home. And you don't understand what's going on. All you know is that your friends are gone. You have one set of pants, one shirt. Your dad washes your pants and your shirt out every single day and then hangs it by a unit to try to dry it overnight. You don't have your mom, who is currently 4 months pregnant with your sibling. And frankly, at this point in time, you've gotten depressed to the extent that you've stopped eating. This is the story of Liam. The sad reality of what we found when we went to Dilley was that Liam was not the only one. You have so many mothers in this facility. They didn't care about themselves. I'm going to be perfectly honest. They were concerned about their children. We heard the same story over and over and over about how they were depressed, about how they weren't eating, about how children were throwing up. We went into a housing facility because I don't know that they were really trying to take us into one, but we went, and there was an area that was almost set up like a kids' play area. And we walked in, and as soon as we walked in, everyone kind of flooded towards us. And at some point in time, it seems like they told us that they were actually educating these kids. And the kids were like, no, we're not in school. We're not getting anything. And so my staffer is like, what's up? Because y'all told us they were getting this. They reopened this facility that had been shuttered under the Biden-Harris administration. They reopened this facility back in April of last year. They continue to house children there, and they are not getting any education. Their education is being thwarted. And then when pressed about it, they said, well, we're working on it. And I said, well, what exactly are you doing? They said, well, we're going to get some packets in here. And I said, what are the packets going to do? Are you going to have teachers? Well, we have somebody that has an educational background. Listen, I did criminal defense work, y'all. I'm here to tell you that the treatment that these people are suffering under right now is worse than those that are accused and sometimes even convicted of crimes. That's how bad it is. So people wonder, like, why is it that people are outraged? Why is it that the people in Minneapolis have taken to the streets? Because they are kidnapping their neighbors. We know that Trump lied. We know that all he does is lie. Because the first thing I wanted to know was how many criminal convictions do y'all have? How bad are these folks? Oh, no. You can't be here and have a record. Y'all, I can't tell you how many innocent, precious children we talk to. We talked to a 16-year-old, and one of my staffers says, man, the level of maturity on that kid. That kid had about 4 younger siblings and his mom. They had been there for 8 months. When we walked in, they gave us a packet, and it said the average detention time was 28 days. We didn't meet anybody who had been there for less than probably 2 months. This is not right. And when I asked the person that is over the attorneys that are there to represent the government, I asked them, I said, what is happening? You've been here long enough. You're a government employee. You've been here through various administrations. And frankly, he said, the difference is somehow they're trying to prosecute these cases while keeping people in custody. That is not what they normally would do. That is what this administration has decided to do. They have decided to play with people mentally. They have decided to tell people things like, well, you're not going to be able to see your kids if you do this, or we're not going to do this if you do that, or we're not going to give you your court dates. This is terrible what is happening. And I really don't know what it's going to take for there to be a wake-up call in this country. But I am here to tell you that we are supposed to be better than this. We talk to people that are saying, you know what, I'm from Cuba, as one woman said. And she was crying profusely saying, and they are sending me to Ecuador. What are we doing? So I'm here standing with my colleague because no, we won't fund this nonsense. We both voted no on that bill. We are asking our colleagues in the Senate to do their part. Stand up for people. Stand up and show them what humanity looks like. We know this administration doesn't care about us. But frankly, when people literally are talking about the water that they are drinking is not safe, if you allow this to continue to happen, then you are complicit. We have to do our part as the legislative branch. We have the power of the purse, not the president. It is time for us to flex our power. So thank you so much for being here.
Imagine being able to build.
Absolutely egregious. Okay, these people are being housed in absolutely deplorable conditions. And also, just for FYI, I have not been able to confirm this, but I did hear from a very good source that ICE is actually recruiting from inside of prisons. Did y'all hear what I just said? It has been alleged from a credible source that ICE has been recruiting inside prisons. And that sounds about right. Is that why that journalist got hired without having a background check completed? Is that why some of these people hired have SA convictions? Said that they're recruiting from inside prisons, telling them, you want to get your rights back? You want to be able to carry a gun again? You want to be able to live as a normal citizen when you get out of here? You want to work for the government? You want to help us clean up the streets? Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? If you're in prison, I want y'all to pay attention, especially when they tell them something about a $50,000 bonus that they actually may or may not get, depending on if they stay with the organization for 5 whole years as required. But this is all in the small print, the fine print, that many probably didn't even bother to read. But nonetheless, let's continue, because now they say ICE is right here in Georgia. Okay, sightings of ICE. Now we know that they have ICE facilities just about everywhere, but boots on the ground, ICE reported to be in College Park, according to city leaders. Let's get into it, because what are they doing here? Here we go.
Be in the metro Atlanta area tonight? That is the question that the College Park mayor and council wants answered.
At least 2 city council members have said on the record federal agents are on the ground in the metro Atlanta community, but do not appear to be targeting local citizens. Fox 5's Angelique Proctor has been looking into these claims and joins us now from College Park. Angelique?
Well, good afternoon to both of you. The College Park mayor says safety in this community is her top priority. She says if ICE agents are on the ground here, then they should have been in touch with local officials first.
They're not required to let anyone know when they're coming.
College Park Councilwoman Dr. Jamil McKenzie says she does not know why immigration officials are in College Park, but she is convinced they are here. The Ward 1 council member released a video on social media with eye-opening advice to her constituents.
We're strongly encouraging all residents, if you're out and about, to carry proper identification and documentation of your legal status, just in the event that you are pulled over.
College Park Mayor Bianca Motley Broom says she too wants answers about what is going on.
The calls that I've received have come in over the last several days, and people have been concerned that they've been perhaps seeing ICE in the community, but at this point, I don't have anything verified.
Vice Mayor Joe Karn called the Concerned Black Clergy Zoom meeting Monday, saying he has been in touch with the city's congressional delegation.
Good morning, Councilman. We can hear you.
A lot of ICE activity. Right now, we don't know exactly why they are here. We suspect quite a few things. We're going to be setting up meetings on the federal level and how to work with, how to deal with them from our congressional office.
Council members Karn and McKenzie and Mayor Motley Broom are all on the same page on this issue.
We've all seen what happened in Minnesota. My concern as mayor of the city of College Park is the safety of all of our residents.
And I have reached out to ICE to try to get some feedback on what is going on. I am still waiting to hear back. Reporting live.
They're not going to tell her anything. Didn't they just say that they don't have to notify anyone when they're coming? They're not going to say anything. At the end of the day, I pretty much have an idea of why they're here. Okay, let's go to this TikTok video because this young lady tells where they are in Georgia.
I'm back in Georgia. Let's get to it. Don't ask me how I know. That's none of your business. Your business is the things that I'm telling you. January 20th, into the weekend, this week, Norcross, Holcomb Bridge Road, Buford Highway. January 20th, right now, they are in Tucker, Georgia. Graves Road, from Arbor Mill, the Reserve at Gwinnett Apartments, all the way down to Havana Chase, all the way to Creekside Apartments. That entire triangle, they are sweeping that whole area. Do not open y'all's doors. Be careful where y'all walk. Keep an eye out. Don't slip. Brookhaven, from Peachtree Road to North Druid Hills Road, all the way down to Buford Highway. It's going to be cold. Indian Trail Road, Lowburn, specifically Indian Trail apartment homes. Do not open y'all's doors. Sterling Glen Apartments, the Breck, Ashford Meadows, the Aurora at 2700 Apartments. Be careful. Keep an eye out. They are circling that whole area. Graves Road, Norcross. They're up and down that street. Near an elementary school, by the way. Listen to me. Peachtree Industrial Boulevard, all the way down Pleasant Hill Road to Lawrenceville Highway. That entire area in the middle. Be careful this week into this weekend. Again, do not ask me how I know. It is none of your business. What you need to do is listen to what I'm saying and put a jacket on and look, keep an eye out because there's going to be ice on the floor and you might slip. Do you mind? I'm trying to record a video.
Okay, now with that all being said, if what she says is true, and it likely is, well, they're over there where the immigrants are. That's where they are. They're over there looking for the immigrants. All I had to hear was Buford Highway. Okay, anybody from Georgia, you already know who's on Buford Highway. So with that all being said, yeah, they're doing the same thing here, folks. Please pay attention. Now, they better not bring that BS to Atlanta. Don't come over here with the BS, okay? Don't come over here with the BS because Atlanta Negroes is not here for it. Now, let's continue. With that all being said, you know, MAGA, remember how I told you all just last week? Didn't take long. Remember I told you all last week how MAGA was going to be regretting pretty soon? Even those of them that are still supporting Trump, they're going to be upset pretty soon because it's going to start to affect them. Okay, I know they're being affected by the economy being in the tank at this point, but they're still holding on for hope. Well, here's the thing. Now Trump is talking about the Second Amendment. You think MAGA's thrilled about that? You think they're thrilled about that? Let's get into it. Because Trump is reneging. Okay, I thought he was all for the Second Amendment. Now, since the shooting of Alex Preddy, okay, who had a gun on his person when he was at the protest, now they're saying you can't walk in with a gun. Okay, that's what your president said. But it was okay when Kyle Rittenhouse did it. And yes, I said Rittenhouse.
Said, you can't have guns. You can't walk in with guns. You can't do that. But it's just a very unfortunate incident.
People have to protect themselves. I'm a Second Amendment person, very simply. People have to be able to protect themselves.
With that being said, you can't have guns. You can't walk in with guns. You can't do that. But
the hell's he talking about? You can't walk in with a gun. So you can't bring guns to protests now? Yeah, right. Okay, so, what's MAGA going to say about this? Now they're going to have specific places they can and can't carry their guns, according to Trump, and the protests are one of them. Now, of course, MAGA wouldn't be out there protesting against Trump. We all know that. But pretty soon, they're going to be protesting something, and that's a given. Now, with that all being said, let's go to where Trump brought Nicki MAGA Minaj up on the stage at an event, and she looked like she was so thrilled and so excited to be where she was. You know, she's full on MAGA at this point. Are y'all still supporting this lady? I have several questions. At the end of the day, this is just another reminder how some of these people who look like us are not like us. Okay, please pay attention. Please pay attention.
My daughter, she went crazy when she heard that this was happening. I want to go. You know, she happens to be in the wrong state right now for that. But when she heard that there's a certain person that's here who's the greatest and most successful female rapper in history, Nicki Minaj. Come on. And, you know, and Nicki makes a lot of cash. Not as much as Michael Dell. Not quite. Not as much. But that's okay. But Nicki makes a lot of money, and she's generously stepping up. She's investing hundreds of thousands of dollars in Trump accounts to support the children and really the children of her incredible fans. That's great. Focus on that. Why should you give to somebody else's fans? Give to your fans. I like that. But and I just think she's great. You know, I've been hearing so much over the years because I didn't know Nicki, and I've been hearing over the years she's a big Trump supporter and a Trump fan, and she took a little heat on occasion. Her community isn't necessarily, I tell you, we did pretty damn well with that, with your community, as we say. But Nicki has been an unbelievable supporter. She gets almost as much as Mr. Wonderful over here. He's been another one that's been so good. But I'd like to ask you to come up, Nicki. Come on up. Come on. She's been such a great supporter and a great supporter of Trump accounts. And I said, I'm going to let my nails grow because I love those nails. I'm going to let those nails grow. She's so good. She's been MAGA. What can I say? She's been with us all the way, right, Alex? She's been with us all the way, and just want to thank her. And it wasn't so easy. For you, it was easier, right? You want to come up? You want to come up? Mr. Wonderful, come on up here. You've been terrific. Come on up.
Boy, Trump is really laying it on thick.
Hello. Well, I don't know what to say, but I will say that I am probably the president's #1 fan. And that's not going to change. And the hate or what people have to say, it does not affect me at all. It actually motivates me to support him more. And it's gonna motivate all of us to support him more. We're not going to let them get away with bullying him and, you know, the smear campaigns. It's not going to work, okay? He has a lot of force behind him, and God is protecting him. Amen.
Oh, girl, sit down somewhere.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
So done.
On behalf of all the entrepreneurs in America, I'd like to thank you, Mr. President, because...
Why is she grinning so damn hard, sitting up there looking like a Cheshire cat? Okay, literally with that big fur on. The last samurai said, is she wearing a fat suit? You know, I thought that she looked a little extra plump when she got up there myself, if I must admit. Okay? I am so through with Nicki, honey. Ooh, epic fail, beloved.
We create 72% of the jobs. Companies 5 to 500 employees, and all we care about is policy. We love policy, pro-business policy, and these accounts are fantastic for independence and support. I thank you very much. It's all about the entrepreneur, and I think you know that, sir.
I want you all to pay attention. He said they create, what, 72% of jobs, and he's friends with Trump? That's a scary thought. Now, listen. So Didi and Dallas said these are her people, PDF files. Well, of course. Of course. And speaking of that, where do you get a load to what Jane Doe said about Trump and Epstein? Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. We need to impeach the whole administration, okay, with a quickness.
I'm going to read you portions of the case against Donald J. Trump and Jeffrey Epstein filed by Jane Doe in the United States District Court, Southern District of New York. It is case 1-CV-07673-RA. I'm starting on page 4, paragraph 9. The plaintiff was enticed by promises of money and modeling career to attend a series of parties with other similarly minor females held at New York City residence that was being used by defendant Jeffrey Epstein. At least 4 of the parties were attended by defendant Trump. Please see exhibits A and B. So there were exhibits, in other words, pictures or something proving that he was there. On information and belief, by this time in 1984, defendant Trump had known defendant Epstein for 7 years. Quote, "I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy," unquote. Trump booms from a speakerphone. Quote, "He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. No doubt about it, Jeffrey enjoys his social life," unquote. And knew that plaintiff was then just 13 years old. Exhibits A and B, probably pictures. Paragraph 10. Defendant Trump initiated S contact with plaintiff at 4 different parties. On the 4th and final SEX encounter with defendant Trump tied plaintiff to a BED, exposed himself to the plaintiff, and then proceeded to forcibly grape.
Okay, now with that all being said, for those of you that have been following me, you know I did a whole breakdown on that with all of the legal documents. Okay? And we talked about that. So at the end of the day, this is why Trump's doing all these things to distract people, because he knows what lies ahead. He knows what's in those files. Okay. And then also Representative Melanie Stansbury had some things to say about Trump and that whole Epstein debacle as well. As a matter of fact, let's go to it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share.
You're part of the Trump derangement syndrome again, that the majority of the people that put him in office agree with what this man is doing. And so
Mr.
it's just
Norman, the American people in
let
my
me just
district
finish.
put me in office.
It's not your
and-
time. It's not your time.
But I don't have to sit here and be personally insulted by you, sir. We can have a difference of opinion.
No, you're putting him in danger. You're an elected official.
And have polite discourse. I am not going to
I'm
personally
polite.
insult you, but I'm not going to sit here and allow you to personally insult me either.
You were not really allowed to adequately respond. I'd like to give you the opportunity now.
I think what I would like to say, if it's okay, is to just add on to what my colleague was saying. I represent very humble communities in New Mexico, Albuquerque and 10 rural counties. And I was home over the weekend, and I literally had hundreds of people come to speak to me. People are frightened right now. I had a mother with her child come and tell me that she's afraid that her child is going to be kidnapped from her preschool. Right before I walked into this hearing, one of my best lifelong friends texted me and said, "Are my children going to be abducted?" One of my best friends that I grew up with. That's what's happening in this country right now. So, Madam Chair, and to others on the committee who willfully are believing that somehow we are elevating these issues because we dislike the president or we dislike his policies, we're elevating the voices of millions of Americans who are afraid that their democracy is slipping away and that their children are going to be kidnapped and taken away from them. That is why we are raising these issues, because it is about the safety and the future of this country. And that is what we're trying to raise accountability.
Okay, now here's what she further had to say about Trump.
We found in the Epstein files. Watch this.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I actually went through the files this weekend in depth. Donald Trump is not only named over and over in them, it is discussed this trial in which he was accused of raping a 13-year-old at Epstein's house. There is extensive discussions about a subpoena of Donald Trump in one of Jeffrey Epstein's cases in which he was accused for rape and sexual abuse. He was subpoenaed and gave a deposition in that case. There is extensive discussion between Donald Trump, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Mr. Wolf about not only Trump coming to his house, but Epstein says in these emails that he has photographs of Trump with girls.
Yeah, you're done, Dookie. Done. There ain't no wiggling your way out of this one. So I hope that you made your plans to flee to Argentina, because that's the only way you ain't gonna face consequences.
Okay, y'all heard that? I find that absolutely egregious. I find it absolutely egregious. Now, but hold on. Let's go to where she talks about J.D. Vance's dog whistles. Okay, that's something that he and Trump are good at doing.
Under this administration is that they are inciting violence. And to see the Vice President of the United States, who, by the way, is an Ivy League law school graduate, go on national television and say that federal officers have absolute immunity, one, that's a lie. But really what it is a dog whistle. He is saying to federal officers that if you are out there on the streets, you can kill with impunity. And so that is inciting violence and violating the law. And so, we just have to rein in this administration. They are clearly using federal law enforcement to terrorize the American people, and now trying to cover the fact that the American people are outraged by what they're doing. And I think also, when you look back at some of the videos of Stephen Miller, for example, and Pete Hegseth, when they were meeting with National Guard before they were deployed to cities, they literally were riling these guys up and telling them, take them down. I mean, they are trying to incite violence on the streets of America. But what we've seen under this administration is that they are inciting violence.
Okay, that's exactly what they're doing, is inciting violence at the end of the day. And they keep trying to blame everything else on the left. But in fact, it's them. Okay, they're unhinged. And so are these thugs that they have on the streets calling themselves ICE. All right. And so with that all being said, I find it all very interesting. But now let's continue, because as I told you all at the beginning of the broadcast, the FBI raided the Atlanta election office, okay, chasing Trump's 2020 voter fraud claims. Let's get into it. This is all so nefarious. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share my screen.
Tonight, this video shows federal agents raiding an election center in Fulton County, Georgia. The county says it was served a warrant for a number of records related to 2020 elections, with the FBI calling it court-authorized law enforcement activity. All afternoon, a steady stream of local and state elected officials arriving at this sprawling facility trying to observe the agents' work. One state senator who went inside posting this video to social media that he says shows agents removing boxes of ballots.
This is an order from on high to try to disrupt Fulton County's election administration just because Donald Trump is still mad that he lost the 2020 elections.
President Trump has long falsely claimed the 2020 election was rigged, something he brought up just days ago.
It was a rigged election. Everybody now knows that. They found out. People will soon be prosecuted for what they did.
In the months after the election, the president asked Georgia's Republican Secretary of State to help him find votes to overturn the results. And Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis charged the president with interfering with the election. That case was dismissed last year. Tonight, the FBI not commenting on what it's looking for or why. The FBI co-deputy director arrived here from Washington just a short time ago. Meanwhile, those court documents detailing exactly what the FBI is looking for remain under seal. Tom?
We thank you for watching.
Okay, so y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? Yeah, Edward said Georgia's in trouble. Okay, so now they have the FBI. I want you all to pay attention, follow along. Now they have the FBI raiding a Georgia election office. Okay, and at the same time, ICE is going door to door, supposedly. Okay, what's really going on here? I want y'all to pay attention. I want y'all to pay attention. This is all about Trump's revenge. Okay, he's still upset, like they said. He's mad as hell.
News right now, the FBI is actively raiding an election office in Georgia right now related to the 2020 election per Fox News. This is a major escalation as the Trump administration targets elections right now. Donald Trump has long tried to say that he won Georgia, and remember all the fraud stuff that never materialized. Well, the FBI is serving a search warrant for a Georgia election office, likely trying to get voter rolls or other voter information. This is likely the beginning of what could be a larger scale effort to try to target state election boards across the country in an effort to try to influence the upcoming midterm elections or moving forward. I truly can't overstate how big of a deal this is. He is actively now using the levers of government to target state and local election offices. Now, we don't have further details as to exactly what they're going for, other than that it has to do with the 2020 election. So spread the word. I'll have more updates for you soon. So follow along, stay up to date on all the news you need to know about.
Okay. What is Trump up to? Only God knows. Okay, please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, there's new details that came out on the shooting of Mr. Alex Pretty, and also there's a witness that came forward to speak about it. We're going to go to that. But let's get to these new details first, because the lies just keep coming out. Okay? The fact that they shot this man dead in the streets, all right, while that man was lying there in a fetal position. They had already disarmed him. They had pepper sprayed him and all of that. They shot this man 10 times.
New details about ICE's public execution of Alex Pretty. New York Times did a frame-by-frame analysis of the video with some new details that are just incredibly disturbing. So first of all, it proves conclusively Pretty never fought back. They kept saying he was violently fighting them. He literally didn't lift a finger. Did not fight back. 10 shots total were fired, 4 shots initially, 6 shots after Peretti was lying motionless on the ground. The first shot was one of the guys behind Peretti. The guy had turned around, standing by Peretti. He heard one of the other agents say he's got a gun. He pulls his gun out, throws another agent out of the way, and opens fire. 4 shots. Boom, 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 boom. Didn't see a gun. Didn't see Peretti do anything. Peretti was on the ground at this point, head on the ground, both hands on the ground. He's at Peretti's back. So they lied when they said that this agent was under direct assault from Peretti and feared for his life. No, he didn't. Peretti was facing the other way on the ground, hand on the ground. Second of all, as we said, he didn't even look. Literally, he heard the word gun, pulled out his, and shot Peretti 4 times in the back because he heard the word gun. That was it. Peretti was still holding his phone and his glasses when he was on the ground being shot. This is important. If he's got his phone in his left hand and his glasses in the right hand, he's not reaching for a gun. If you're reaching for your gun, you'd have to drop your phone or your glasses so you have a free hand. You drop it, you go for that. He, the entire time, held his glasses. He didn't want to lose his glasses and didn't want to lose his phone. Never went for the weapon. Final thing here, was motionless on the ground at this point, right? Shot 4 times in the back, motionless on the ground. And then they shot him 6 more times. 2 agents both pulled out their guns, were standing 6 feet away from him, saw a guy laying on the ground, not moving, and they fired bam, 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 into a motionless body lying on the ground. Total of 10 shots in 5 seconds.
He said it was a public execution and shocking details. Yes. And we've seen many of those public executions of Black people. Okay? We have seen it many a times. And at the end of the day, I told you all long ago that pretty soon they will be killing white people just like they've done our people. And here we are. And it's all thanks to Trump. But this is who they voted in. Okay? So please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, this is a woman who was right there and witnessed them take the life of Alex Peretti. And she tells everything that she saw during the fatal encounter. Now let's go to the footage. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
What I was seeing, like, what? And I knew he was gone because I watched it. And then they come over to try to perform some type of medical aid by ripping his clothes open with scissors and then maneuvering his body around like a rag doll, only to discover that it could be because they wanted to count the bullet wounds to see how many they got, like he's a deer. I watched that, and that is what it felt like they were doing. And that is part of why I was like, what are you guys doing? Why would you jostle his body around like that? You're not even doing anything to help him. But I knew he was gone.
Well, for days, she's been called the woman in the pink coat, and she captured the crucial video showing exactly what happened when Alex Peretti was shot and killed by DHS officers. She had not come forward until today, and her name, which is being revealed for the first time, is Stella Carlson. She's a children's entertainer. She runs a children's entertainment company. She's a face and body painter and an airbrush artist. All of it a world away from anything she or anyone could possibly imagine. You knew he was gone then? I knew he was gone. There was no way with the way his body was moving, and I only knew that because of the way they were manipulating his dead body, just playing with it. Like they're in a video game. They were looking at us and laughing. After the shooting? Yes. I mean, the reason of escalation was due to the mockery. We understand why the MPD is unable to intervene on a level we would like. But you would like to think that their kindness, compassion, looking us in the eyes would occur in these moments when we're being attacked in the streets. And the MPD just felt like they were part of that team at that moment. And maybe that, I'm not talking about the whole department. Were Minneapolis Police Department people on the scene? Once the yellow tape was up, there were MPD officers who were standing in line, 5 of them, I think, and they wouldn't look at us. Everyone just kept saying, just look at us. You're our representatives. You work for us. Why won't you look at us? Like a part of our community just was murdered in the street. Like, you're our Minneapolis Police Department. Why won't you even just look at us to give us solidarity? You know, when we walk around with the whistles around our neck, it's not that we have, like, we know we can't do much. But what we do know is that we can let our community at large know when we're walking around, like, I see you. And if you're stuck in your apartment, I want you to see me. I'm another person walking around who is here to protect you as best I can with my whistle and my phone, which really feels not great. And yet, you stood there with a phone and you documented this. You didn't run away. I am not one to run when I'm afraid. I just, no way was I going to leave Alex by himself, undocumented. Like, that wasn't an option. I mean, obviously somebody was just executed in the street. I knew I was in danger. We all were, but I wasn't going to leave if we weren't all cleared out.
And if it wasn't for the collective actions over the past 3 weeks, I don't know if I would have been able to stay that long. But I knew that this was a moment, and we all have to be brave, and we all have to take risks, and we're all going to be given moments to make that decision. And I guess in my default mind of crisis there, that's where mine fell. And I'm grateful to myself, and I'm grateful to anybody who was supportive to me after, to make sure I could get to safety and get that video uploaded to the right people.
The federal government says that they are investigating what happened. Have you been contacted by anyone from the federal government? FBI?
No, I have
Border
not.
Patrol, Homeland Security?
I do have a legal team now who are fielding much of that, and I am no longer accessible in those ways.
I talked to your attorney this morning. She said she had not received any outreach from the FBI or anybody from the federal government.
I do not think they have my name yet. Obviously, they will.
You've given testimony to state investigators.
Yes, yes.
Do you have confidence in a federal investigation?
No. No, I do not. I have faith in
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there because the video is like over 10 minutes long. But the bottom line is this woman knows what she saw. She knows that the Trump administration has lied and continues to lie. Okay, even though Stephen Miller tried to walk it back a little bit and say that maybe they didn't go along with policy or protocol. Okay, but they're not going to apologize for the disparaging, low down, dirty, nefarious things that they have said about this man who was completely innocent. Okay, that's what they're not going to do. And no one should be surprised at all. Now, with that all being said, there is a young man who says that he was almost killed by ICE at his job. And this is a Caucasian male. We're going to get to that in a second. But first, let's go to where ICE threatened this man for raising his voice. Let's get into it. This just really goes to speak to, this really speaks to how much of just bravado they think they can walk around with. Okay, walking around so arrogant. And this man even had the nerve to have an accent, mind you. Okay, clearly he's one of the people that he's detaining. I want you all to pay attention. But the fact that he told someone, if you raise your voice at me, I will erase your voice. Really? So that's what they're doing out here? Killing people for raising their voices? Because that's what he said. Okay, let's get into it. If he says, I'm going to erase your voice, what does that mean?
I'll tell you this, brother. What? You know, I will tell you this. You raise your voice, I raise your voice.
If I raise my voice, you'll erase my...
Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
Are you serious? You
Yeah.
said if I raise my voice, you'll erase my voice?
Yeah. I will tell you this, brother.
What?
You know, I will tell you this. You raise your voice, I raise your voice.
Y'all heard that, right? Y'all heard that. He said, raise your voice and I will erase your voice. I just want y'all to pay attention. So talking a whole lot of gangster tough talk here. Okay, and here's the thing. You know, as it pertains to ICE allegedly going into prisons to recruit people, that should not seem strange to us at all. Because if you remember, in the Los Angeles County, when Sheriff Alex Villanueva was there, if you remember, they were going around allegedly recruiting gang members for the police department. And also they had gang members or gang units, or not gang units, but gangs in the police department, the executioners and the banditos. And when they would kill someone, they would bend down one of the points on their 5-pointed star. You all remember that? So it's not far-fetched. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's what they're doing, because they would want the worst of the worst, in my opinion, to carry out these heinous things that they're doing. Okay? People with a moral compass would never engage in such cruelty and such heinous acts.
New report just dropped, and it completely obliterates the idea that ICE and Border Patrol are somehow the good guys. Advocacy groups uncovered over 30 people, current and former immigration agents, charged with or convicted of violent crimes. Almost all were sex crimes. 2/3 involved children. Yeah, let that sink in. We are talking child sex trafficking.
And I want you all to pay attention because think about all of these little children that they're detaining, like Liam Ramos. Okay, think about Tara Rodis, who in 2023, July of 2023, in fact, came forward and testified before Congress about the trafficking that was going on with these migrant children. How that she was boots on the ground, and these children were supposed to be taken and given to sponsors who would look after them. But the sponsors were traffickers. Do you all remember that report that I did? Okay, when I broke that story, nothing's changed from the sounds of it.
Rape at gunpoint, kidnapping, torture, and producing child sexual abuse materials. This spans ICE and Border Patrol, not one rogue officer or rogue department, both of them. The report says this isn't random, it's cultural. A vetting system so broken, it keeps putting predators in positions of absolute power. As I told you earlier, one ICE agent shot and killed Keith Porter Jr. on New Year's Eve. Despite documented child abuse, racism, and violent behavior, he's still free and still employed. Another was a Border Patrol agent exposed as the East Valley serial rapist, arrested 22 years after his first known assault. Some agents
Do you all hear this? Now, I did not know that because I didn't listen to this whole video. Say what now? A serial rapist arrested 22 years after? This is who's working for ICE. Okay, I'm going to tell y'all like this. At the end of the day, these are whole thugs and criminals out here detaining people. No wonder that governor came out the other day. Wasn't that the governor? Or no, the attorney general. No wonder she came out the other day talking about their state has stand your ground. Okay, let's continue.
allegedly used the threat of deportation for sex to extort sex. And now ICE operates masked in cars that are unmarked. And as we've been saying all along, predators are copying them. Poor women can't tell who's real and who's a criminal. And sadly, this is only the tip of the iceberg. The real scandal isn't just who committed these crimes, but it's who covered them up and just kept signing the checks anyway. Please tell Congress to stop giving ICE a blank check.
Absolutely nefarious, okay? Absolutely, that's crazy. I want y'all to pay attention. This is absolutely some real BS. And like he said, we don't know who's who. I already showed you all footage months ago where they had these Caucasians going around thinking it's fun and kicks and giggles to dress up like ICE agents and harass immigrants. Okay? They thought it was all fun and games. Let's continue. I think it's safe to say that everybody should know what they need to do.
Someone got killed by ICE tonight. For context, I work at a Korean bakery filled with mostly Korean immigrants, and I am one of the only 2 white people there. We had closed about 10 minutes ago, and we were cleaning the tables while somebody else was doing the tills. There were about 3 Korean ladies there tonight, and me and the other white person. While I was mopping the floors, I heard a very loud banging on the glass door. I turned around to see 2 masked men, completely masked, banging on the door. They were wearing the signature ICE look, if you know what I mean. Immediately, I know who these people are and what they're here to do. I also know that everybody in the building is documented. But who brings documentation with them to work? Nobody. Nobody does that, not even United States-born citizens. So we think really quickly. We hide the Korean ladies in the freezer behind a shelf, World War II style. And I have the other person get on the phone with the police because they're coming here without a warrant and they're being aggressive. So I go to the door and ask them if they have a warrant. They said that they don't care and they don't need that, which, like, and that's like in verbatim, which is insane to me, like that you would just say you don't care. And essentially, I told them that I was not going to be letting them in without a warrant. I also told them that in no way, shape, or form would I physically stop them from coming in. And that was simply for my own safety, because If you haven't seen what's been going on in the Midwest lately, which is where I am, it's getting really bad. It's getting really bad. People are being killed for recording ICE agents now. We saw that today. So one of the ICE agents pulls out a handgun and taps it on the door. He then points it at me. And so we kind of have a back and forth. And I tell him that if you kill me tonight in front of this other person on camera with the police on the way, your life is over. You will ruin your life. And I'm just sitting.
Now, did you all hear this? This poor young man is at work where he's basically having to negotiate for his life. Are y'all kidding me? Is this where it is? Is this where it's at? He's basically at his job having to negotiate for his life, telling them if you kill me, then the police are already on the way and you're going to ruin your life. I'm sure that's not what he signed up for, but let's continue.
I'm thinking to myself, like, oh my gosh, like, I'm going to die. Like, tonight is the night that I'm going to be killed. Which is, like, not something that I've really thought about processing before, like, the prospect of dying. Like, you don't really think that you can die until it's you being faced with death. And I came, like, really close to it. Eventually, the police arrive and the ICE agents leave, and the owners and our manager show up. And me and the other white person, we get put into questioning because we were the official witnesses of the whole situation. And now I'm home trying to process everything that just happened. Mind you, I have work again tomorrow. So just a friendly reminder that it doesn't matter if you're not in Minnesota, Minneapolis, or Portland, Oregon. If you are literally in any major metro area or in the Midwest, end of story, and you are working in a place or living in a place filled with immigrants, you are not free of risk from ICE. So I almost got.
Well, that sounds absolutely egregious. Now, with that all being said, a couple more videos that I want to show you all. First of all, let me just tell you how Trump is so low down and dirty, trying to erase Black history. Okay, y'all know that he has banned Black history in the U.S. Air Force. Let's get into it. Speaking of the Tuskegee Airmen, yeah, that's what the dirty dog did. Let's get into it.
Has just erased Black history from the U.S. Air Force, banning the teaching about the Tuskegee Airmen, a famous group of African-American pilots and other support teams who helped fight the Nazis in Europe in World War II. And now the Air Force has to remove them from the curriculum because Trump's new orders against diversity say we can't teach that to our soldiers because it's bad for them. But you know what? I can teach you about it, and I will. So before World War II, the military was segregated, right? Blacks and whites could not fight alongside each other. Specifically, blacks were also not allowed to be pilots because, listen to this, the Air Force had determined, the Army War College actually had determined that African Americans lacked the courage and fortitude to fly planes, right? Listen to this. The all-black 332nd Fighter Group based at Tuskegee Army Airfield in Alabama shattered the race barrier. The unit had as many as 14,000 airmen, 1,000 of them pilots. They flew 15,533 sorties, so in other words, like air attacks, over Europe during World War II. 96 distinguished flying crosses, 3 presidential unit citations, etc. These were famous Americans. They were the greatest generation. They were our World War II heroes, and they were Black. And now you will never hear about them in the U.S. military because Donald Trump just erased them from history.
Isn't that low down? So basically, he ended by saying that for people who ask what the difference is between the Democrats and Republicans on race, well, the difference is clear, is what he says. Now, with that all being said, I find it all so nefarious at the end of the day. Trump is doing the most. Okay, but at the end of the day, like I told you all, Trump is on his way out of here. Trump is not going to make it the next 3 years. He just isn't. It's not in his cards. It's not. It's just not. Okay, he's not going to be here for these 3 years. Please pay attention. The universe has spoken. Okay, don't say I didn't tell you. Now, with that all being said, let's continue because this Jewish man wants to send love to the Black community from his community. And let me say, this evening I'm going to come back because we have got to talk about how the white folks should be looking real scared and concerned right about now because it looks like they're in a bit of a pickle. You see, because I just happened to go on TikTok and I don't know how I missed this. It's been going on since December, maybe even before then. But the Asian community on TikTok has been giving a whole lot of credit to Black people for having their backs. And so now they're saying that we're their cousins. Yikes, white folks. Because I thought that the Asians were honorary white people. Didn't y'all think that? So now you have half of the Asians praising the black folk for having their back. And this all had something to do with something that happened on TikTok. But then also you have the other half who wants to keep their nearness to whiteness. So it's very interesting, but we're going to talk about all of it this evening. So make sure that you tune Black in at about 7 o'clock. Okay, now with that all been said, let's hear what this Jewish man has to say. Durana said, not cousins. Yes, they said since we're all Asian now, and they said we're all cousins. Please pay attention, honey. Okay, I find it all interesting.
The Jewish community to the black community. Right now, the world is trying to pin us against each other. And I want to let you know, hear it from me first, a Jew, that we have nothing but love, respect, and admiration for you, for your people, for your culture, and for your beautiful community. We wish nothing but the best and nothing but good. And we hope that you feel the same about us. God bless you. God bless all the nations of the world for that matter. We should hear good news. We should hear peace. We should hear love. Because that is what God is about. God bless.
Okay, so y'all heard what that man said. Now I can tell you this, his message was very heartfelt. He was clearly speaking from the heart, unlike some people who are so disingenuous, but he was authentic. I could tell I could feel it in my spirit. With that all being said, listen, I love the people that love black people at the end of the day, but if you're against black people, then I'm against you, and that's just what it is. Okay, so if he's for black people, then I'm for him, and that goes for anybody else that is for my people. All right, I love the people that love my people, even if you're not my people. But at the end of the day, the nefarious people, yeah, I got nothing for you. Now, let's get into this because this young man is a Black Panther Party member. In fact, he's the executive director. Okay, and he has some things to say about Mr. Birdsong. He has some things to say about Mr. Birdsong. So let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
I haven't said anything about those people posing as Panthers in Philly. I am the founding director of the Black Panther Party Museum. But one thing the Panthers taught me, no investigation, no right to speak. Now I can talk about the lack of style, the lack of origination, that their new name, the Black Lions, is an animal that does not exist. Much like this man's identity. Since he's cosplayed a rapper, a Pyru blood, and now a Black Panther. All within a few years. But the best response I heard came from Floyd Webb. In his Substack article, Ain't No New Black Panthers. This is a brother who worked with the National Committee to Combat Fascism alongside the Black Panther Party in Chicago. He says every time this country is in a crisis, somebody says the Panthers are back. But we are not watching a resurrection. We are watching mimicry. The original and only Black Panther Party was not an aesthetic. It wasn't outfits, slogans, or militant posture. It was infrastructure built within repression. Look at what happened with those paper Panthers. They took the name and iconography. But where are all the programs? Whose babies did they feed? What medical clinics did they set up? What seniors did they care for? What schools did they set up? Where are their legal defense funds? Since they want to say,
won't no ICE agent ever run up on me. I guarantee you they won't. I'll put a hole in their chest the size of a window.
They call themselves Black Panthers because their name did the work their organization could not. Instant attention, instant fear, and instant collapse. Then Floyd Webb goes into Huey P. Newton's autobiography, Revolutionary Suicide. He said Huey was not talking about being martyrs for the movement. He was talking about how we survive. That meant having discipline under constant surveillance, keeping up mutual aid despite harassment, educating the community before confrontation. See, some of y'all still think it's a game. But Floyd Webb said visibility without capacity is a funnel for repression. Y'all finna get everybody killed with very little progress. We are not here to perform, trend, or fed. We are here to get free. The Black Panther Party disbanded in 1982. Ain't no new Black Panthers today, tomorrow, or a few years ago.
That's right. Take principles and do something for yourself. Start your own. Isn't that what I said that he should have done? That's exactly what I said he should have done. Okay, at the end of the day. Now, Albie Chill says, and y'all need to be pushing to restore our history and reparations too. That's how you show love to our people. Exactly. Okay, all these people showing love to Black folk, please help us to get reparations and an anti-Black hate crime bill. We do so need it. And some of y'all have already gotten your reparations. Okay, so now we need ours. That's how you can show love. Don't talk about it, be about it. All right, that's all we're saying. They want unity with Black folk. Well, then help us get what we're due. Okay, help us get what we're due. Now, with that all being said, let's go to this TikTok I did yesterday. For those of you who missed the updates,
These Panther patches will no longer be on my uniform.
well, that was none other than Paul Birdsong, the former chairman of the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, or so he called himself that. Okay, at the end of the day, he's been denounced by numerous other Black Panther Party organizations. More recently, the United Empires of Al-Kabulon, a name that he snatched and took upon himself to take it after he joined their organization after coincidentally meeting them in California. I don't think it was by happenstance. I think it was all very much so planned because I think he just is possibly an agent or a plant. But with that all being said, he took their message, he took words that were said by the founder of the organization, the United Empires of Al-Kabulon, and started reciting her speaking points, her talking points, going around here acting as though he's a whole revolutionary when you were just in a gang in Michigan on TV, yelling at the police and making threats about what he was going to do and all of that. Please pay attention. And I just have to love the way that he implies that other Black Panther Party members are nationalists, Black nationalists. They've never claimed that. They've never said that. At the end of the day, he's trying to call them Black nationalists because they don't go along with his ideology, because they're doing things in a whole different way. And he's just doing something for clout. That's all this whole thing was about. It was all about clout, being big and bold, saying these threatening statements that made him seem larger than life, like he's some nefarious superhero come to save the day. Please. And then he backpedaled very quickly, did he not? Please pay attention. Back last April, he was using the name United Empires of Al-Kabulon, Panther Party for Self-Defense. Now, that's the name, like I said, that he got from a woman by the name of Tina Berry. They called her on YouTube Straight No Chaser with the Queen. She started this organization, United Empires of Al-Kabulon, because she was trying to start a micro community for people who look like her. He came aboard and then he started trying to just take over after infiltrating, just trying to take over and do things his way, and they didn't like it. They were not in alignment with him, so they moved away from him. So this guy is just a fraudster or just a clout chaser, in my opinion, who's been doing nothing more than trying to infiltrate other groups and, just swagger jack them, hijack their message or whatever, and use it for his own and then put his own spin on it. That's what it sounds like. And coming out here acting like he's a whole revolutionary here to save the day and isn't saving anyone. Okay, please pay attention. Now the name of his organization is Black Lion Party for International Solidarity. Well, I can think of a name that's more befitting to call himself the Black Lion, because that's what he's been doing, telling a whole bunch of lies. Okay, he should call himself the Lion King, if you ask me. Okay, please pay attention. So sad. So sad that this is where we are. Okay, and then some Black people still believe this man after all the lies he's told, after all the different personas that he has. Okay, I'm sorry, Jennifer Cobb 1390 said that she didn't trust me because I told Black people not to vote for Kamala, which I did not. But she clearly said she trusts Chairman Paul Birdsong. Well, he's no longer Chairman Paul Birdsong of the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense. Now he's Chairman Birdsong of the Black Lion, party. The Black Lion International Party for Solidarity. Isn't that what it's called? I find it all so egregious. Now, last thing that we're going to get into before I roll out of here is to talk about the so-called fraud. They have Chris Rufo on here on Fox News saying this involves people at the highest level of Minnesota politics. That's their nice little way of saying Tim Walz. Okay, that's all it is. They're just trying to say Tim Walz, trying to make sure he's added into the mix because of Trump. Can't stand this man because he ran along with Kamala. And so he wants to get his revenge. That's why he's doing all of this to Minnesota. Okay? The Last Samurai said he looks like Don Lemon. I don't think anybody looks like Don Lemon.
Under 2 investigations, now raising money from hardworking Americans to pay his lawyers because the Somali fraud investigation is going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to defend, if not millions for him. Do you think that's why he cut a deal with Trump to hand over the bad hombres to ICE directly?
It's quite possible. I was in Minneapolis and I was talking with many people on the ground. There are at least rumors swirling about complicity, if not outright conspiracy, between the Somali fraudsters and people at the highest level of Minnesota politics. And look, they thought they could get away with this. They were doing this for 10 years with no trouble from the left or the right. I think they got lazy. I think they got greedy. I think they got brazen. And now the spotlight is on Minnesota. But what we need now is a full court press from the Trump administration, root out the fraud, get people to turn on one another. Scott Besson is offering bounties for people who will flip. Wow. I think we have to do this, and I think the fraud is really just being uncovered. We're just seeing the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, and
they claim that this is just the tip of the iceberg. They're barely scratching the surface. Is that what they're telling us? And they say Walz begs for legal defense cash. Yikes. He doesn't have money for his own defense if they put him on trial. I find this all egregious. Now, The Last Samurai, I'm sorry, I misread your comments. Clearly, I don't have on my glasses. You said he looks like Lemon Lion. I thought you said Don Lemon. Okay, anywho, let's continue.
And Omar, $30 million all of a sudden showed up in her bank account. That's suspicious, especially when all you do is your husband owns a vineyard all of a sudden. I don't know. We're glad she's okay with the that squirt gun or whatever that was. And, you know, you got to keep people safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
These people are something else. Okay, they have something else. Trying to minimize the fact that Ilhan Omar was attacked by some fool in the crowd. Okay, who knows what he sprayed on her, by the way. With that all being said, listen, we're in for a bumpy ride, and you all already know that. Okay, Trump has lost his damn mind. Okay, and everybody knows it. At least everyone should. And at the end of the day, listen, in that clip, they put on the screen that the DOJ is breathing down Walz's neck. Well, I'll tell you what, Iran is breathing down Trump's because they said they got their finger on the mother-ucking trigger. Okay, so y'all go figure. That's what they said. Okay, I'm not making this up. So now with that all being said, before I leave out of here, listen, at the end of the day, they're back to using their slavery tactics. Okay, because they have the Gestapo, i.e. ICE, going around from door to door, asking people for their paperwork, like they're on a plantation and all of this stuff, just abducting people, okay, human trafficking, snatching people up and taking them to a different place, and God knows what's happening to them in these detention facilities. I can only imagine, especially with the people that they're hiring. Okay, a bunch of offenders, a bunch of freaks and perverts. Okay, and PDF files. That's who they hired, allegedly. So with that all being said, I think that this whole administration needs to be impeached post haste, don't you? And you know, I'm going to tell y'all like this. Black people are not out there in the streets. And rightfully so. Those people that Paul Birdsong had with him, the Black Lion Party, International Solidarity, or whatever they call themselves, well, they didn't look like they were tough. Now, I'm sorry, people got all upset and were acting like those people came to save us. They did not even look like they were tough. They don't look like they work out. They didn't look like they did anything, any sort of training, that would just make them, compatible to go out there and act like they're just defending all these people that they were talking about. Okay, I just found it egregious. But even more so are the YNs. These little YNs that we have today, they're so quick to pick up guns and turn it on each other. People who look like them go out here and be menaces to society in their own communities, acting like whole fools. That's what they do. They literally take out the people who look like them. So for the people who thought that Mr. Paul Birdsong was going to lead the revolution for Black folk, you need to think again, because wasn't he Pyru? Isn't that what he went down to Michigan to try to start? After he wanted to infiltrate the ones in California, he wanted to be a whole gang member up there talking crazy to the police about what the gang members were going to do. I'm sorry, but that's a whole oxymoron. How are you a gang member and a revolutionary at the same time? You're not. Okay, you're not, because your values and your morals don't align with anyone that's a real revolutionary. So there's that. But also, I want you all to pay attention to how these little YNs we have today, they're soft batch. That's why they're so quick to pick up a gun and can't throw those hands. Please pay attention and observe.
Go ahead. Your name is Toby.
I rest my case. Okay, I rest my case. They wouldn't have lasted a day. They wouldn't have lasted a day, okay? Endure what our ancestors had to go through. All right, so anyway, with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning back in. Before I do, let me show you all this. This racist devil flipped a bird at a Black woman and got instant karma.
God damn it! I hate you! God damn it!
Are you okay?
No!
Are you hurt?
Yes!
Physically?
I give up! Or fucking die!
Cannot. Okay? Absolutely cannot. Now, with that all being said, listen, that video was funny, but my favorite one is the one that came out a few years ago when Trump was running. It was MAGA Karen. That's what I called her. She was clearly a Karen. And she was in her car doing a video cursing people out. Okay, on her live stream, I do believe it was. She was cursing people out and calling people rock cuckers. Rock cuckers. Y'all know what rhymes with that. But that's what she was calling people who didn't want to vote for Trump. And as she was doing so, she wasn't paying attention to where she was going. And so she ended up going into the river. Yeah, she went into the river and was cursing all the way down. I thought it was epic. I actually enjoyed that. I had such a good laugh that day. Please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, I love you all to life. I hope you all enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. I will see you all back at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, beloveds, each one, teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember to keep the Most High first in your lives. Until next time, beloveds, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther. shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got